Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Steve Murray with Insurance Agency Marketing Services. Joining us soon will be Dave Pimper. Dave is the president of Lazarus Coaching. He'll be talking about with us today how to maximize Social Security benefits and help you through that maze a little bit. And then also, we'll talk about some of the efforts that we've had towards promoting seminars, digital seminars, and actual face-to-face seminars. We think we're going to be getting back to those here soon as well. So we will have some conversation about that. During the course of the event, I appreciate it if you just take a minute and answer any polls real quickly that come up. Yes or no, either answer is fine. And if you have any questions, type them in and we'll get them asked and answered just as quickly as possible. I want to go ahead and get started here today. Make sure that you know about a couple of programs that can put some money in your pocket here at IAMS. One is a referral program. When you refer folks to us, it is highly appreciated, obviously. One of the ways that we show that appreciation is to send out bonus checks based on the business that your referee does. We do that for as long as your referee is doing business with IAMS. It can add up to some pretty good money, as you can see there before you. A producer does $1 million of business. What happens is you're going to get about $2,000 in referral cash during the course of the year. You have 2 or 3 of those, it really adds up to some real money. We send those checks mostly out quarterly. Some of them actually go out monthly, but most of them go out quarterly. Kind of depends on the size of them. Market reimbursement is another program, fairly simple. When you do business with IAMS and any product, any services that we offer, any of the carriers' products that we offer, you're going to get a amount of money that's going to go in your marketing reimbursement account. When you send in receipts for marketing that you do, we're going to match your spend dollar for dollar. A great program. Hopefully, those of you that have not taken advantage of that with us today will begin to take advantage of those really good programs. I'm not going to zip through this because I know that most of the folks on here have already been with IAMS for years or months or longer than they would still qualify for the new producer bonus. But what I wanted you to keep in mind as much as we can is we got some great benefits and great features, some great things that when you offer them, your clients are going to be happy and you're going to make a good compensation. In your first 180 days, that compensation, you can also take advantage of an incentive, whether it's some cash, a trip to a Ritz-Carlton, some marketing, so getting seminar business, a lot of different things that you can tap into. Main thing I want you to take away from this is if you're just getting rolling with IAMS or thinking about getting started with IAMS, ask your sales director about our new producer bonuses. We got great back office support here, some of the best in the country, in my opinion, and a lot of my competitors, I think, would probably agree with that. I could talk about it all day long. The only way that you're going to know it is to feel it. So give your sales director a call, ask for some help on a case, and then when you do put an app in the system, you're going to be pleased and happily pleased with how well your business is seen through the pipeline and gets out the other side with a commission check on the way to you with as little involvement on your part as possible. We got some great creative marketing folks over there. I would like you to consider them as a little bit like your own little advertising firm here at IAMS, and they're going to do most of that work pro bono, a lot of it at cost, most of it at cost. A lot of it you'll be able to use marketing reimbursement dollars to take advantage of their services, and they are built around helping independent producers build their image and build their business. So every day that's what they do, whether it's website, Facebook advertising, however they're going to go about it, and however you want to go about it. They've probably done it before for another agent or another producer just like you that's looking to build their business. So a lot of it's built out, some of it's templated to make your life easier, but if anything you need custom, they're there for that as well. Good people with a lot of experience and a whole lot of technical knowledge. As I always tell them, kind of feels like magic to me. I know it's not. I know it's just using technology, but they do a great job and put out some really good stuff. We got a great website. If you haven't taken advantage of it, I would call your sales director up and say, hey, walk me through, this is what I do in my business. Walk me through the tools on the website that could be useful to me. So we've got some great stuff on the sales support library. We've got Firelight now, a single sign-on for Firelight. So I know many of you now are doing your applications on EAPS and having to go to different companies' websites. You can access all of those now through our website, through our single sign-on. Great thing about that is that you can do, an app with one client with 2 or 3 companies if you wanted to, with just a click of a button, just a copy and paste function to move all the information over. Obviously, you still have to have your client approve it and, do the kind of the signing ceremony, but you don't have to go through and put that information over and over again. It saves it in the system for you. And it gets it right here in even if you have a broker dealer, it has to go through them for the approval first. That's already set into the queue, so that will happen automatically. Your broker dealer will approve it. All that will happen behind the scenes without a lot of effort for you, and that's a great feature of our single sign-on on Firelight. So that's just one of the things on our website that is very useful. Like I said, our sales library's got some great stuff out there. Our iPipeline, where you can go in and quote both life and or life insurance products that are both permanent and term, and get like the best 2 or 3 for what you're looking for in both of those areas. So really handy stuff on our website, and plus just the normal stuff that you would expect there. So a lot of information, a lot of rates and things like that. So good stuff. If you haven't taken advantage of the retirement analyzer, give Marcus Soller a call and just have him walk you through it. Have him do one on you, or help you do one on yourself, or do one on one of your best clients just as a sample. I think what you'll see as you look through that, it's really useful, very the graphics are simple and strong. The information provided is very beneficial to your client. It kind of ties you to them over the long haul and makes it a systematic approach to getting to their retirement goals or retirement journey. If you haven't looked at some software like that, I would encourage you to do so. It can make a lot of difference in your relationship with your clients. The retirement analyzer, I think, is probably the best for most folks out there because it's easy to use. It's very consumer friendly. So when your client looks at it, they'll the things that they see are going to be very self-explanatory. And of course, there's just no doubt that having that available to you here at IAMS at our expense makes trying it out a lot easier. So give it a shot. Give Marcus a call and say, walk me through that retirement analyzer. Do a case with me, and I think you'll be happy with what you find. We got a great wealth advisory firm, RIA here now at IAMS Wealth, up and running for 3 years now. They're doing a great job. There's some things that set them apart from what I can see, and this is what I hear from our producers in the field. So a couple things that I think that you'd want to look for from IAMS Wealth that maybe you're not getting from your current RIA, if you have one, is a little bit lower fees, or I would say more efficient fees. Everything is included in the monthly fee expense. So you get your E&O insurance, you get your website, you get a CRM, you get all the services that you would normally expect, and you get that for a very competitive fee. And so that's a nice feature. And then their payouts are a little above average. So when I'm talking to folks, the thing that seems to be the most unusual that surprises them, and so I want to make sure that you're all aware of it, is that our fees are just, or our payouts to our advisors is just a skosh over 1%. And the key there is that does not then go through another grid. So it's not like you're going to get 60, 70, 80, or even 90% of 1%. You're going to get that whole little over 1% is going to be paid out directly to you. So that's something that maybe sets them apart. If you're happy with your RIA, that's great. If maybe you're not happy with the service that you're getting, maybe your fees are too high, maybe your payouts are too low, and you need to at least have a thought about checking in with them, I would give them, or check yes on this poll if you would. And the folks over there, whether it's Charles or Mike or Joan or Sarah, they'll give you a call and walk you through what they do. It's probably 15 minutes. They'll go through the fee structure. They'll go through the payout structure. If you're thinking about getting a Series 65, I would say probably 2/3 of the folks that are currently in our RIA, we help them through that process of getting licensed. So we're very good at that. We can get the books ordered up for you. We can get you kind of a syllabus of kind of a study pattern so that you can be real comfortable with your timeline and when you would get your 65. This is a great time to do that, by the way. And to a man, everybody that we have had that, or to a man or a woman, everyone that we've had that has made that jump has been happy with the increase in their a whole new realm of business to their book. So if that's of interest to you, by all means, give the folks a call and let them walk you through it. And like I said, it's a 15-minute call, and I appreciate you putting everybody answering that poll really quickly. We're moving right along here. If you have any questions, type them in. I see we have a couple, which I'm going to come back to here in the interest of time. If you haven't seen one of our academies, if you haven't been to one over the last 15, 16 years, I would recommend, and we don't know when the next one's going to be, and I apologize for that. Just the uncertainty of travel right now, and the lack of interest, I think, in traveling around for a lot of folks has led us to suspending them at least through the first half of the year. I'm not sure what's going to happen, obviously, as no one is, as we get through the late summer and fall. If it feels like things are loosening up substantially, we're going to try and get one or two in the fall. If not, we're going to be ready to go here in 2021 to get you down the path there as well. So if you have interest, you have the 800 numbers right there, 800-255-5055. Give us a call. Ask for me. My name's Steve Murray. Ask for any of the sales directors. And what you'd want to ask for is a sample agenda. Now that agenda is going to change, obviously, but the intent will be the same. It's big sales, big marketing, a little bit of product, a little bit of what's going on in the industry. That's kind of the mix. So that won't change. Some of the particulars of presenters may change and things like that. But the agenda will be it'll give you a really good idea of what we do from the timing. So ask for the agenda, and then also ask for the registration page. And if you look at the agenda and say, I think I might be interested in this in 2021, you need to get your name into the hat. You can imagine, because we're paying the expenses on it, so those fill up relatively fast. We'll pay for your hotel, we'll pay for your travel, everything that you need to get there, we're going to take care of. So those do tend to fill up. So if you have some interest, what I'd ask you to do is get with your sales director sooner rather than later. Okay, let's get moving along here. So I'm going to answer some questions here, but before I do that, let's get a little introduction of Dave Pimper. So Dave is a coach with us, but beyond being a coach, he is also his first job by far is producer, and he's a great producer, both the insurance side and the security side, and has been for over 30 years. He's done 500 plus seminars. He's probably up to about 515, 520 right now in terms of seminars he's presented. He's been doing radio for the past 13 years, so he's probably longer than that, actually. I think probably goes back to the mid 80s, late 80s that he's been doing radio. He's both securities and insurance licensed, so he does production on both sides. So he's really good to have as part of the team. Great experience. He's going to talk today about Social Security maximization. And Dave, are you with us here this morning?
Yeah, absolutely. How are you doing, Steve?
Great. I'm losing my voice a little bit, so I'm going to hand this off to you. You can tell that, can't you? I'm going to hand this off really quick and kind of let you take over, have a drink, and then I'll pipe back in.
Okay, real good. Hey, thank you very much. My name is Dave Pimper, as Steve said, and I'm a producer, just like probably everybody on the webinar, which we have a lot of folks right now on the webinar. And I'll tell you this: no matter how smart you are or how much you know about a certain product, if you're not in front of enough people, it's all for naught in our business. I mean, you can be a great educator to one or two people, but you'll be a great producer if you're talking to tens and tens, if not hundreds of prospects in a year's time. And there's different ways to go in from lead generation, but I'll tell you, with Social Security, I would say if there is one thing that I've learned in the last many years, is that Social Security probably has opened up more doors and given me more insight for money than any other one thing that I've done. And of course, I work that off of seminar marketing, and I work that off of Retirement Boss Radio, which is radio host marketing. With seminars, of course, being down, probably we're going to be rolling out in-face person-to-person seminars in August. Most of the libraries are opening up in July. We've already got seminars that are being performed here at the end of June, but we got quite a few more in July. But by August, things will be pretty much open. So we're going to get back to maybe a little different norm with social distancing, but we certainly are going to get back to normal again. One of the things that I kind of impress upon people is that knowing Social Security really kind of gives you a leg up on other folks. And the reason for that is because Social Security, no doubt, is one of those areas that there's a lot of folks that advisors in particular that don't really understand Social Security. Now, Steve, I'll let you know, I will be done here probably not much later than about 10 till or so, and then I'll let Steve take it from there. I'm going to be jumping off. I've got an appointment that I'm going to, and one of the questions was about when to claim Social Security. So it kind of ties in very well with with our with our presentation today. If you have any questions, certainly go in and type them in. I'll be more than happy to answer those here when we get done. So I'll go through some of the slides. This isn't all of the slides, but it's some of the slides, and I think you'll get a good feeling of how this presentation is constructed and how it works. It's a quote: "The next best thing to being wise oneself is to live in a circle of those who are." That's by C.S. Lewis. He's a Christian scholar. Um, yeah, I always say I am the person tonight who is going to help you go in and I really understand Social Security. Okay, so I'll see if I got the Steve. Do I have the controls? Do you know?
You should give it a shot.
Yeah, I'm trying to give it a shot here. So let's see if I can. For some reason, I don't see them. So
Okay, let me move this
oh, there it
slide
is. There
for
it
you.
is. There it is. There I got it. I got it now. Yeah, good. Okay, yeah. And then I read the disclosure. I tell them that I am the person that's putting the Social Security together. Yeah, Steve, I don't have the controls. I don't know why I don't. But if you want to just move them, that's fine with me. Okay. So we're going to go and in this we talks about two new tax reforms. One is the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, which is the Secure Act, and then one of those is the CARES Act. But the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, and this actually went into 2018 is when it came into effect, and it really affected income tax rates. But when we talk about the Secure Act, and this might be a bit outdated on this one, Steve, or the one we picked up, it really is the Secure Act and the CARES Act. And those two are the newer ones that have just came out this year, and we talk about each one of those. So we can kind of run through those tax cuts. We can just go through those slides, Steve, because
Go ahead, give it a shot, Dave. See if you can move it now.
Okay, all right, I will. Nope. Well, guess I wasn't I?
Yeah.
Yep, I can now. Okay, good. Yeah, good. Yeah, so we actually don't use this. We updated this with the Secure Act, which is about RMDs now being 72, no inherited IRAs, just the 10-year rule. We talk about annuities being more accessible within 401ks. So and then we talk about the CARES Act. CARES Act, that you can go and tap your money for up to 100,000 if it's in an IRA or retirement plan. Even under the age of 59 and a half, without a 10% penalty, you can loan up to 100,000 if your custodian lets you. There's some other things too with the CARES Act that are important. We cover two or three of those. Those are all brand new things for the year. Like RMDs are suspended; they're waived for the year 2020 because of how much the pandemic has hurt markets themselves. This is a stroll down memory lane. Just when Social Security started in 1935 by FDR, first check, Ida Mae Fuller in 1940. 65 was the only age you could take it. Interesting thing. Couldn't take it early, couldn't take it late. 65. It's funny that the average age of longevity back in 35 was the age of 62. It's a great deal for the government. There never was any COLAs until 75, cost of living allowance annual COLAs. In 61, under JFK, President Kennedy, they lowered to the age of 62. Like you could take it early at 62 or sometimes before 65 and just have it to be a lesser amount. Shortly after that, they raised where you could take it later and get a bigger amount. Was never taxed before 83, but it came up to 50% taxation at above certain brackets. In 93, 85% is being taxed. The Bipartisan Budget Act of 2015, that really phased out in 6 months, file and suspend, but restricted application. It's still around, being phased out in early 2024. Over 68 million people receive benefits. Isn't that wild? About 5.5 million a year of benefits. The average right now benefits about $1,503. It's actually about 60% of the people that take Social Security claim it as that is very important, to their retirement income. It's a major source of their retirement income. This is a great slide. It's by Janet Herron from the USA Today. It says doing this one thing with your Social Security could mean losing $100,000 in retirement. And then bullet point 1, how much does claiming Social Security at the wrong time cost you? Second bullet point, retirees will lose an average of $111,000 in income per household over their lifetime because they took Social Security at the wrong time. Can you believe it? Over 111,000. Only 4% of retirees took Social Security at the financially optimal age. Only 4%. And I'll say then, folks, that's why you're here tonight. You're here to find out when is the most maximum. How can you maximize your Social Security benefit? You're not going to learn that from the Social Security Administration office. They're just going to give the highest benefit you can take right now. It's a really great slide. A lot of articles like this way back, now, but there wasn't way back when. Social Security 101 is simple. I mean, for an individual benefit, you can take as early as 62. You can take as early as 62, wait as long as 70 to let it grow, and then full retirement age is either going to be in today's day and time, it's either going to be 66, and then stair step up 2 months per year, like 66.2, 66.4, up to the age of 67. If you take earlier than full retirement age, you get the benefit now, which is a plus, but the benefit is reduced, which is a negative for the rest of your life, which is a really negative. If you wait until 70, all of those benefits have kept compounding, and they guarantee to grow 8% plus COLA. So anywhere from 9 to 12% on an average, they'll grow each and every year. Big, big deal for the rest of your life. So people come to workshops for different reasons. They want to know if Social Security really going broke. We'll address that. When's the best time to apply? What's my benefit going to be? Just many concerns like that. I like to say Social Security can have a huge value, but it's claiming at your right time, not the right time, but your right time. Cost of living, annual cost of living started in 1975. And you can tell you're at a $2,000 benefit. This year it's 1.4% is cost of living. Last year was 2.8. So we took 2.8. 10 years later, that 2,000, just because of COLAs, has grown to $2,600. 20 years, 35, and 30 years, almost 4,600. COLA's a big deal. How about accumulated benefits at 2.8 cost of living off of 2,000? In 10 years, over 300,000. In 20 years, almost $2/3 In 30 years, well over $1 million. If you're over the age of 62, you can continue to get a hard statement once a year. It's got a Xeroxed off in black ink. It's very simple to go to online at socialsecurity.gov/my statement, and you could go in and put a couple security questions and your information and password, and you can get in your statement once a year, which that's exactly what I do. Then you will not get a hard statement. Social Security number 1, is Social Security going broke? And everybody probably heard their parents say, hey, you better save for Social Security because it's never going to be there when you retire. Well, you know what? 50 years later, it's still here. Social Security still here. Never missed a payment. Not once. Do you think Social Security ran a surplus or a deficit last year? Surplus or a deficit? Did they take more money in or Social Security pay more money out? If you guess paid more money out, you're wrong. There was more money that came in. Revenues were little over $1 trillion. Total expenses exactly $1 trillion. There was a $3 billion gain. More income came in. Most people think that's not the case, but it is. Hasn't ran a deficit since 1983, a long time ago. So how do you shore up Social Security? Well, there's lots of things. The Republicans would probably want to do more with age-based. I would say that Democrats probably want to do a little bit more with taxation based. There'll probably be some kind of compromise between the two. It certainly is a political hot potato. When I'm giving the actual workshop, I tell them I think one of the easiest things to do, truly, I think, is just raise the full retirement age. Raise it from 67 to 70. I mean, if the full retirement age was 65 back, 85 years ago, and it's only raised 2 years, look how much longevity has gained from early 60s to probably late 70s. A lot of years, and I heard that it would shore up Social Security just about 10 years of solvency for every extra year of full retirement from 67 to 68, 68 to 69, 69 to 70. And I like throwing humor. I'm not a jokester or a humorist, but I like to have a kind of a complicated, boring subject, which it is. Not for me, but for most people it is. It's complicated. What happens is that I just say, if I go to my son Sam, 28-year-old news reporter, pretty smart dude, and I say, hey, Social Security Administration is raising your full retirement age from 67 to 70. You know what you tell me this weekend? Who cares, Dad? Give me another beer. He could care less. Now, we, at our age, getting near retirement or close to retirement or in retirement, it would make a big deal to us. So, no, that's a kind of a political hot potato, but it will be firmed up. They need to do something, because we'll start running a deficit probably this year, and then we'll run a deficit somewhere between 2033, 2035 is when the trust fund gets exhausted. I always bring this up to you. Say the trust fund does go bankrupt. The 2.9 trillion goes to zero in 2034, let's say, and you have a $2,000 benefit. How much money would come in if the Social Security trust fund goes bankrupt? A lot of people say nothing would come in, but that's not true, because it's a pay-as-you-go system. It's paid by payroll taxes. Actually, 88% is paid by payroll taxes. Of the other 12%, 8% of that is paid for by interest on the bonds, which are now IOUs borrowed by the government, and about 4% is paid income through Social Security taxation. Is it a Ponzi scheme? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And if they say, well, nothing hard backs Social Security like it once did, the bonds had hard backing. It's not, but I say it's not. Look at the dollar bill in your pocket. What backs that? Is there gold? Is there silver? Is there some bonds? No, nothing but the full faith and credit of the U.S. government. The exact same thing that backs Social Security. So I would say, when they say cash is no good, I'll be concerned about Social Security. How do you figure out your benefit? Well, it's going to be earnings over your working career. The more you make, the bigger your benefit will be. And what age you start your benefit. If you start early, 62, it's discounted the most. If your full retirement age is 66, it's discounted 25%. If it's 67, it's discounted 30%. And then they take your 35 highest inflation earning years. If you have 34 years, you get a zero in one of those years. You need 40 quarterly credits quarterly credits to get a benefit. This year it's $1,410 is how much, and that goes up with inflation. So $1,410 or $5,640 will give you 4 credits, and that's the most you can have. Those credits can be larger if you make more money. They can be less if you make less money. But you need 40 of those credits over a lifetime to get a Social Security benefit. Don't you love that long-haired dachshund with the dunce cap, and he's got a bone tie? That's bad Nebraska joke, yeah. If you're born from 43 to 54, your full retirement age is 66. I was born at 55. Mine's 66 years and 2 months. If you're born at 56, 4 months, 57, 6 months, all the way up to 1960 and later, full retirement age is 67. So unless somebody comes to your workshop, that is, going to be 66, 70, 76 or older, their full retirement age is 66 to 67. Okay? Full retirement age is when you can get your full benefit, your full retirement benefit. That's your FRA, full retirement age. A newborn baby born today in the hospital, what's the full retirement age for Social Security for that baby? 67. May change in the future, but not now. Lots of acronyms. It's just ridiculous of how many acronyms there are, but that's what makes the 2700 ruled Social Security Act complicated, yeah. When you apply for benefits, if you apply earlier than full retirement age, it gets reduced. If you wait later than full retirement age, you're guaranteed 8% a year. Remember, COLA is on top of each one of those benefits. COLA started in 1975, cost of living allowance or retail inflation. There's been 3 years there hasn't been a cost of living allowance raise. That's 2010, 2011, and 2016. Of all the other years, there's always been a Social Security increase. So let's talk about spousal benefits. Let's say Dave's primary, the PIA stands for primary insurance amount. That's the amount you get at full retirement age. So let's say it's 66. And Amy's PIA full retirement age of 66 is $1,000. Let's say they both take. They both retire at 66. for this hypothetical situation. Amy gets her 1,000. Dave gets 2,400. Now, because Dave's taken his, Amy goes in and has the option. She could take 1,000, or she could take half of Dave's, whichever is higher. What's higher? 1,200 or 1,000? 1,200. So when she takes half a Dave's, that's done automatically, by the way, by the government, by the Social Security Administration. What happens? She gets 1,000 of her own benefit, and she gets 200 of a top up as a spousal benefit. If I don't take mine, she can't get half of mine. It's only when I take mine. So if I want to wait till 70 and she takes a 66, nope. She just gets 1,000 until 70. Then she gets a $200 top up of the spousal benefit. All right? How about divorce spouse benefits? Here's the triple play for divorce spouse. I'll throw one in just for the heck of it. Your marriage had to last at least 10 years. You're currently unmarried. You could have married after you got divorced, but you're currently unmarried, and your ex is at least 62. And you need to have divorced at least by 2 years. That's the extra throw in. If all those stars and moons line up, even though you're not married to your ex, you can go in and claim them as being married to him for Social Security benefits. And what's interesting is in normal precedent for Social Security, you can't take two spousal benefits simultaneously. You can with divorce spouse benefits. Both can take off each other. Doesn't affect that person's benefit or Social Security standing in any way. Pretty cool. Why is that important? Married couples have much more flexibility and alternatives than a single person. A spousal benefit is done automatically. A divorce benefit has to be asked for. It's biblical. It's like if you don't ask, you don't receive. If you got questions, certainly do. Now, when I'm going through, say you sign up for coaching with me, I want to coach you Social Security, and I say this maybe because I have that background, but I'll tell you right now, 11 years ago, I didn't have a Social Security claiming background. I was a good advisor. I did a good fair amount of business. But until I learned really Social Security inside and out, that set me apart. I called my CPA, my lawyer, my banker. All of them had been in the business for more than 30 years. CPA is a CPA lawyer. I mean, I tell you, all top notch in my little town of Fremont. And I asked them how much their background was on Social Security claiming. You know what every one of them said? Virtually none. Virtually none. I said, well, who do you refer to then? Every one of them said who? Social Security Administration. You want to hear something wild about that? When you go to the Social Security Administration, they cannot, legally, they cannot give you advice. They can't. They have to give you the highest benefit you can get right now. They can't say, well, they have a scenario plan for you. I do that. It sets you apart in your community if you really understand and know Social Security. How about survivor benefits? That's what my wife always says. That's one thing no one's going to get out of here alive. Physically, are we? No. Everybody's going to die. Guaranteed. Dave and Amy. Dave's benefits 2,000, Amy's 1,200. Who normally dies first in a marriage, the guy or the gal? The guy does, 80% of the time. You know why? He elects to. Another bad Nebraska humor. Those are the kind of corny little jokes and anecdotes that I say throughout the workshop, and seems to, I mean, sometimes I'll get more giggles or more laughter, but I'm not trying to be a comedian. I'm just trying to keep it a little bit lighthearted. Yeah. But let's say that I die. Amy's 1,200. She can drop her 1,200 and jump up to my 2,000. She has to request it. She can do that. She can do that by online, or she can do it in person. Okay. And you think you could probably do it by phone also. Yeah, but if she doesn't ask for it, she doesn't get it. I had a lady, one of my my second workshop I ever did. It was in Fremont at the Keene Library. She came in and said, Mr. Pimper, and I always get a kick out of when really old people call me Mr. Pimper. Mr. Pimper, she says, you said something during the workshop about spousal survivor benefits that bothered me. I said, what was that? Well, you said that if your spouse dies and that person has a higher benefit than you do or I do, that I can jump up to that benefit. I said, that's exactly right. And I just love that she says very sternly, well, I was told you could not do that. I said, well, who told you that? And she said, my brother. I just laugh to this day. So how'd you like to be? Yeah, um, she lost $30,000, actually 27,000. I found 3,004 through a do-over, but yeah, she lost $30,000. I mean, how'd you like to go to Thanksgiving dinner across from her brother that next one? Yikes! And I always tell people, don't trust your brother, your mother, your aunt, your uncle, your pastor, your priest, or your rabbi. Yeah, trust someone who really knows it, like Dave Pimper, because I understand Social Security, and you certainly could too through coaching and getting involved. Coordinating spousal benefits. Bipartisan Budget Act did away with file and suspend. A lot of advisors who did workshops then quit. They said all the sizzle's gone, but the steak is all there. People just don't even understand the basics of Social Security. I did 11 years ago. I knew virtually nothing, and I was in the industry. And then restricted application is the twin sister of file and suspend. That's still around, but you got to be born before January the 2nd of 1954. Okay? January the 2nd of 1954. That's when you got to be born before. If it is, now I don't like slides like this with no pictures, but it gets kind of complicated. But what basically happens, Dave and Amy, my primary insurance amount is 2,400. Amy's is 1,000. They both want to. Amy wants to claim her benefit, have money coming in the family, but Dave wants to delay his and earn the 8% guaranteed retirement credits, the delayed retirement credits. Well, because Dave is born after January the 2nd, born before January 2nd, 1954, he can start his benefit in the eyes of Social Security, and they'll then stop it. So he's never going to take an income, and his 8% will continue to grow. But now he can reach out and take a spousal benefit. The spousal benefit is always half of the other spouse, so half of 1,000 is 500. Dave can that $500 a month is free money. Free money. That 6,000 a year is free money. You could do it up to 4 years. What? That's $24,000. I mean, that's real money. Yeah. So that's called restricted application. I just did one for a fella that came in, and I 770,000, and we've already fact found. I met with him the first time, and we're going into the finale. We're going into the closing here next week. So I certainly hope that I can get that. That came from a Social Security lead, absolutely. Social Security myth number 2: you're going to get the biggest benefit if you claim at 70. Not so fast, Sherlock. Nope. The average benefit age to get the biggest benefits around 67 for a couple. Like my wife, I mean, we took hers early, 62. I'm letting mine grow, but she did not. No, it just depends on the situation. Is there reasons to claim early? Sure there is. You need the money. Your health's not good. You're not going to live long enough to make it worthwhile to delay. Your health is good, but your whole family's is bad. Might want to take it. But I say being uninformed. I actually wanted to put down being ignorant, but I thought that was too harsh. But being uninformed, people that come to a workshop like this, they get informed. They want the answers of finding out what to do with but there is times to take early, absolutely. Does delaying make good sense? Pun intended. Yeah, it could. If you have a $2,000 benefit at 3% COLA, which we've averaged more than that in the last, 40 some years, but that $2,000 between taking a 62 and 70, your money is virtually guaranteed to double by the U.S. government. You can't find that anywhere else of an income stream, I'll assure you. Social Security myth number 3: if I claim Social Security benefits early and invest the income, I'll come out ahead rather than delaying to claim. That's true if you had the discipline to do that. It could be, but all that reinvestment money, say you put it in the stock market, I mean, we went down 34% in 23 days in March, even though we've gained back most of that, all in the NASDAQ, but most of that, but about 8-9%. But there's no guarantee there. Here you're guaranteed to grow, not counting COLAs, 5 to 8% every single year once you're age 62. Can you take benefits if you're still working? Yeah, but here's what happens. Actually, in 2020, it's $18,240. If you make more than that, government's going to take half of your money away. If you make more than about 48,000, give or take on your specifics, but the 40,000, they're going to take it all away. Now, you actually do get it back in a stipend, a monthly stipend for the rest of your life, but they take it out very quickly and they give it back to you very slowly over your life expectancy. If you're making well over $18,240 and you're under the full retirement age, once you're full retirement age, you can take as much as you want out. That's like the yellow brick road going from Wizard of Oz from black and white to color. Yeah, good things happen at full retirement age, and it does here also, but really no reason I don't think to take before that. Are there do-overs? Yeah, there's 3 of them. If you take your Social Security benefit and you pay it all back in any kind of family, spousal, child benefit within a year, within 12 months, then you can start over like it never happened. You can do it one time. How about that gal that said she took the information and believed her brother that she couldn't jump up to the higher benefit and lost out on $30,000? Well, if you're full retirement age of over and you say, "Hey, I made a mistake. I wish I could retro back 6 months," they'll allow you to do it. So it's $500 a month times 12 months, $6,000. 6 months is $3,000. I was able to retro benefit her. Had to get on the phone with the Social Security Administration, but we did get it done. The first person said you couldn't do it, and he got me on the phone, and then I talked to them, and then we got it done. I'll tell you the tough thing about Social Security Administration. I think they really try hard, but you know what? You might get 3 different answers from 3 different people. And what happens, I'm going to coach you up on Social Security. We go through 3 sessions. There's a great book to read, probably 30 plus attachments to read. If we talk about restricted application, I got something on restricted application. If we talk about spousal benefit, I got an article on spousal benefits that I'm shooting out to you. The other way, let's say that you got laid off from a company. This happened with ConAgra here in town. A Nebraska-based firm went into Chicago. Of all high taxation places, we lost ConAgra, which is rough, 106-year-old company from Nebraska. And he didn't want to move to Chicago, so he had enough money to retire. We worked with the money, started taking the Social Security. 2 years later, ConAgra comes back and said, "We'd like to hire you back, same position, more money, and do it remotely." Interesting. So he comes to me and says, "Can I stop my Social Security?" Can he? Can he stop his Social Security? You got a 50-50 chance here. Nope, you can't. You can't stop his Social Security. Once you start, it started. The only time you can stop it is at your full retirement age or later. So he still has because it's like 66 years and 6 months, I think. He has a little over 2 years that he has to keep it. Then, if he wants to go on in and stop it, he can. Yeah, there are do-overs. So it isn't once it's done, it's done. There are some do-overs. Is there taxation on Social Security? Depends. Depends on how much money you make. If you don't make much, there's not. If you make a lot, yeah, there is taxation on Social Security. There's ways to eliminate benefits, ways to limit the taxation or stop taxation on Social Security. Social Security myth number 4. Since muni bond income is taxed, then it only makes sense that Roth conversion money or Roth IRA distributions are taxed. Wrong. They are not taxed. Roths are not. Muni bonds are. And you can kind of see in that kind of squinty-eyed chart there. If you're married filing jointly, provisional income, which is your adjusted gross income with no Social Security, add half of your Social Security, add all of your muni bond interest. If it's below $32,000, you pay 0 married filing jointly for Social Security. If you make from 32 to 44, you pay 50% is taxed. And if you earn over 44,000, 85. Those brackets came out in 1984, and they have never risen with inflation. So way back when, most people didn't pay taxes on Social Security. Now, of the people I work with, by far the majority of people pay taxes. Not all, but by far the majority. Can you reduce taxation on Social Security? Yeah, if you use advantage, really like tax deferred, can't do tax free, but tax deferred you can. That, so like all the growth in an IRA, yeah, it's never taxed for Social Security. Okay, but you can do Roth conversion, and interest rates are, not just interest rates, but tax rates are pretty low right now because of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. If you're married filing jointly, you got $24,400 worth of standard deduction. If you're both 65 or over, 27,000 of standard deduction. Don't pay a penny on. Pretty big deal. Could be worthwhile to Roth convert. I think, yeah. So some accounts are down if they had stocks, and like value stocks right now are down about 15, 18%. Small company value down about 19%. Even though the market, the Dow Jones, is probably down around 9. NASDAQ actually hit an all-time high this morning, just this morning. Wild, just wild. The whole pandemic effect. But Roth conversions could be a pretty darn big deal. Like converting a lower amount, meaning you're taxed lower than putting it on in. Yeah. Social Security myth number 5, Social Security Administration will give you the best advice on how to maximize your benefit. Absolutely not. They won't do that. They can't do that. Why? It's illegal. It's illegal. Look at what they can do is they can give you your highest benefit right now. They cannot give you advice. This comes right from their program's operational manual. I was so excited when I found this on the internet. You can find almost anything on the internet. Provide enough information so that claimants can make informed choices, but do not give advice. Where did my CPA, my estate planning lawyer, and my banker all send people to get advice on Social Security? Just to the place that doesn't give advice. Isn't that wild? We do. That's what puts us apart. We set up income streams, 5 income streams, and I talk about Social Security as one of those income streams, but it's not a standalone. It's how the conduit, how it mixes and complements the other income streams. I think that Social Security is the most flexible of all income streams. You've got timing rights on your part of when to take and not to. Claiming at your right time is paramount, and don't forget about the survivor benefit. Okay, so the 5 pillars of income are wages, pensions, income-producing assets, RMDs, and Social Security. I'll go back to that slide. Where do we make money there? We make money by wages or pensions. We make money by RMDs or Social Security. No. Number 3, we make money by rolling over 401ks. Like this guy has 770,000. I mean, that's a good sum of money. I just worked yesterday with 125,000. Came from a Social Security lead. Yeah, I mean, just having that knowledge is, I can't tell you how much it's changed my business. So as we're getting down towards the end of the workshop, I say, you know what? You probably got questions. When should I claim? What's my benefit going to be? How about Roth conversions? That's interesting. I'd like to put some in the tax-free. Is it worthwhile? So when you claim depends on tons of things. I mean, your individual benefits, survivor, spouse, divorced, other income sources, how long you're going to live. Questions of Social Security cannot ask you. I can. And I always say there's a lot to consider for not for the best decision, but for your specific decision when to claim. Now, what I'll do here, time out, what I'm going to do is those last 3 slides, and I'm going to go through a little quicker than I normally would, but I use a procrastination close. I want them to feel like if they don't take action, they're going to lose out. And you know what? In reality, that's the way it is in life. So I say, folks, let me tell you something. I've been in this business for nearly 40 years, since the early 80s, and I'll tell you right now, I don't think I've ever had anybody come to me and say this. Dave, you cannot believe how much money I've made from procrastinating. I got rich off of procrastinating. Normally, between us here, when you think of someone being a procrastinator, that's not a positive, it's a negative. So I say, folks, if you heard something tonight that you think maybe Dave Pimper can give you some insight on Social Security maximization, he can give you some insight on your Social Security questions, then you probably need to go in and mark yes on that consultation form. So here's what happens is, there's a little saying that says, procrastination is my sin. It brings me constant sorrow. I really shouldn't practice it. Perhaps I'll stop. Well, folks, it never comes, does it? Tomorrow never comes. Don't let that happen to you. Normally, people who take action are the people who are most successful. Now, time out. What I'm basically kind of getting across to them, if you don't sign up, you probably are going to lose out. You're not going to be in as good a shape. Now, I say, does anybody know what Nike, the shoe company, the most profitable shoe company in the world, of what their slogan is? And someone says it, just do it. Yeah, isn't that great? Just do it. Take action. Then I go to the next slide, and I say, folks, this is the sign-up sheet. This is the evaluation form, no cost, no obligation. Steve, can you help me get that? I don't know why I'm not there. Thank you very much. Little out of proportion. It's actually a little. It's just a. It's an 8.5 by 11 paper, but it says strategies to maximize your Social Security income. But it's a sign up, and I got the next 2 weeks all marked off, and then I've got a morning, afternoon, early evening time period. I used to do exact times, but I started overlapping so many appointments. I do time periods, and then we call them the very next day. I'll let them know that we're going to make sure the specific time so we're not overlapping. We'll pick those up at the door. And so as they're filling those out, I go into my next slide. And my next slide, I say, does everybody know who George Foreman is? They'll say, yeah, great boxing. He made a ton of money boxing. In fact, he beat Michael Moore when he was 45 years of age, kept it for 3 years, didn't lose it till the age of 48 he held the belt too. But you know what, to this day, you know where George Foreman has made the majority of his net worth? And then someone will say the George Foreman Grill. And I'll say that's exactly right. I said, go Google it up. He got 22 years ago, he got paid with mostly cash and a little stock. He got paid $137 million to endorse that grill with his name. So, folks, I'm going to leave you here tonight with this. Unless you have your name on a grill, you need to mark yes and come in and see me. And that's fun. I mean, then people, they normally laugh or they clap and they feel in a pretty good mood. And that's the end of the presentation. That presentation, I put it together. I don't have all of the slides in there. There's 55 slides. The presentation itself takes about 50 to 55 minutes to go through. So we like to be done within the hour. And if you go through it quickly, it's done in 50 minutes. If you go through it slowly, it takes about an hour and 10 minutes. That's about how long that age group has got just to be able to sit and really soak in the information. So we're going to open up the polls. And Steve, I've got about 5 minutes here that I can go in with questions, and we can. But if you want to mark yes, then we'll get together and we'll just talk about Social Security, what you know about it, maybe how it could influence your practice on a positive note. But I'll tell you right now, it isn't knowing the knowledge. It's getting in front of enough qualified prospects. And that's where the seminar or Retirement Boss Radio, that's where something from a marketing standpoint has to come into play. If not, you'll just be an educated poor guy. What we want to do here, is educate you and really build up your practice. Okay, I'll give it to you, Steve.
Oh, you are funny. So there's a lot of people that have questions. I think you must have hit on some marketing a couple times. So you better talk about seminars because there's people that have concerns about seminars. Or the fact of the matter is we're just getting right back into doing seminars, but the results are good. People are seeing good reservations, and I assume that we're going to do better with the people that show up to those, and even what we're seeing on the digital side. What do you give the folks an idea of how you think that's going to play out here, Dave?
Right. Well, I'll tell you right now. You know what? Digital, which we kind of use as the interim. I mean, we just did a digital campaign, and so far we've gotten over 60 people that have signed up. It has never been. If you do that with a face-to-face seminar, I mean, the majority, you're going to get a lot of them that come. That was the trouble that we have with digital, was getting enough people to actually jump on the webinar itself or on the recording that we used. That doesn't happen face to face. You probably know this, but Phil right now, he's up in the Northeast, Steve, he's getting pretty darn good turnout. That's the very first one that we've had since the pandemic. And so we have a lot more set up for July, but we're really right now, if you start right now and you get coached up on Social Security, we're really looking at August workshops. But if schools aren't open, libraries may not be open. If schools aren't open, school buildings are not open. But if schools are open, and I will tell you right now, I'll be very surprised if they're not. But if they're open, then libraries and the school rooms will be open, and that's in August. So that, we made a decision on that several days ago that we're going to hit them hard. I mean, I've set up. I'm setting mine all up. I mean, our libraries are supposed to open within the next 2 weeks, and we're going to go in online and set up for time. So uh, getting in front of people is key. I mean, you got to know once you're in front of the people, the public, the seminar. But Social Security is a great inroad. Uh, that not every advisor, only about 1 out of 10 advisors really understand Social Security claiming. Let that advisor be you, not someone else getting that business.
Thanks, Dave. I know you got to go. Maybe, and I'm going to give you Steve's phone number. He's got a couple specific questions
Okay.
that you could maybe help him with, and I'll give you his number, and you can give him a call sometime this afternoon when you're
Okay.
free from appointments. And I know we've got
Yeah.
a lot of people voting yes, which is great. So thank you for
Good.
that.
Yeah. Just one quick thing before I go. If
Hmm.
you mark yes, let me tell you, this is not a big sales job on Dave Pimper's part. I go in and just say, hey, tell me a little bit about your practice. What's been working? What hasn't been working? We say this in confidential. It's between, I'm a coach. I'm an advisor, but I'm not one of those coaches that couldn't make it in sales and now they're coaching. I mean, I'm hitting the bricks. I mean, I got from here until 3 o'clock this afternoon. When I get there, I got 3 appointments, and I tell you, one is a brand new appointment. This one happened to come from radio. One is an existing appointment that where there's new money, and then one is a review. But I like to stay busy. I like to stay in front of people. I like to go in, and Social Security has really enabled my business to to take off in a big way, and that has been in the last 10 years time period. So if you mark yes, I'm just going to see, is there something we can incorporate from a marketing idea that has Social Security as a background? If you already know Social Security, wonderful. You really don't need as much of the coaching. Most people really don't have that background. I will coach you up on Social Security. So I'm looking forward to hopefully talking to a lot of folks here. Steve, I will hand it off to you. Thank you, everybody, for being on the phone. And Steve will have some closing remarks here.
Great. Thanks, Dave. Good luck on your appointments.
Okay, thank you very much, Steve.
You bet. So a couple things. There's a couple people have questions on pricing. So there's a couple things that we're doing right now. So the pricing that we work with on face-to-face seminars has been $2,500 for 25 or more face-to-face people at a seminar, and that's buying units, not husbands and wives count as two. It's just that'd be one unit. So we're trying to get for 2,500. We're going to get you in front of at least 25 buying units. What we saw pre-pandemic was numbers more like 35 to 40. Some blowout numbers that really were quite high, and we never ended up below the 25 number pre-pandemic. So we expect to see those numbers back again. And so that's the pricing on the face-to-face. Digital workshops are a little different, and we've got a kind of a whole slew of options there. Everything from doing a digital workshop, kind of a live webinar-based digital workshop, and we're usually able to push 35 to 40 people there. The reason, frankly, that we are trying to get back to face-to-face is because our experience in the digital world, and I don't think I hear a lot of people talking about, and because they know that that's what we all want to hear more than anything else is, hey, we can do business digitally, but in reality, what we're finding is that we can get them to sign up. We can even get a decent amount of folks to show up. Maybe 25% of the signees show up. But then getting converted to appointment, you lose more than average. Getting converted from appointment to piece of business, you lose a lot more than average. So it's hard, very hard in just a straight digital format to help you be as efficient as you need to be with your dollars. And it's not just IAMS. I mean, this is whether you're using one of the third-party vendors, whether we're using one of the third-party vendors, whether we're doing it on our own, whether we're using the same folks. So this is not. You have to be careful. We are not in the lead selling business here at IAMS. We're in the getting you in front of people to do business with business, the doing business, and so we don't have any dog in the fight of just trying to sell you opportunity. What we're trying to help you find is ways to be efficiently getting in front of people. And so the information that and this is information garnered over the past 3 or 4 months, spending thousands. IAMS has spent thousands of dollars, believe me, and our producers have spent thousands of dollars of their own in trying to find ways to get you, efficiently and effectively in front of folks digitally, and it's harder. There's no two ways about it, and anybody that's telling you anything different is not being completely upfront and honest with you by my estimation. So be really careful of that. I've had some agents come to me with some things that people have told them that I just, I would ask that if you hear something and you want to think about something or try something or you want to talk to somebody about it, give me a call and I'd be glad to spend some time with you and see if at least you're being led down a path that might be realistic. But be careful of the digital claims that are being made right now, because and I know that a lot of those folks that's what they do for a living are going to try and find a way to kind of lure you into that. So we'd like the opportunity to chat with you and maybe save you some money, or at least get you asking the questions to help you. But we can do it. Is it the most efficient use of your money? No. If it's the only way we can get you in front of people, that's an option. The most efficient way is still going to be the face-to-face, and we've got those starting right now out in the Northeast. We've got some here in the Midwest that are going to start in July, and then we've got some down south. First ones of those are in August, and I think we'll be able to deliver decent results there, as long as we don't have a blow up in people being concerned about going out and about. So keep that in mind. So there's a lot of questions about costing. So you can expect, whether you're Dave actually includes the coaching. So the two questions: how much is coaching? There is no cost for the coaching. It's actually included in the cost of your first seminars. So our thinking is that if we can get you coached up on Social Security, you can use it in your business in general. You can use it with your clientele, and you can also use it in seminars, and you could use it in radio if you want to do that. So that's going to be part of whatever initiative that you decide to take advantage of. That coaching is probably something that's going to just pay dividends for you for years and years to come. If you don't know about Social Security claiming and you're working with clients day in and day out, that's going to be a real benefit to you. So that's part of the cost. How many people do we normally? So in a face-to-face, you're going to see probably 35 to 45 in that seminar, and you're probably going to get 12 to 14 appointments. Most of those are going to hold for you. You're going to find people don't make appointments for Social Security claiming that don't plan to keep them generally. So most of those appointments will hold for you, and you're probably going to look at it as a sale, 2, 3, depending on the luck of the draw, depending on your skill set, and depending on the clients that you get in front of. You're probably going to make a sale or 2 or 3 from that. And our average sale right now is running on the annuity side, running about 100,000. There's all kinds of other sales to be made. Obviously, when you're talking to folks, whether it's life insurance or med sup, things like that. But our average annuity sale is run about 100,000. Might you do 2 or 3 or 4 or 500,000 from a particular seminar? I'd say it's very possible. Could you get to the point where maybe you don't do a sale? It's happened. So I know people like to blow a lot of big numbers out when they do things like this. That's not what we're trying to do here at IAMS. We're trying to give you a realistic picture of what you can expect when you put some money in the marketing pipeline. And let's face it, if you spend 2,500 and write 100,000 or 200,000, that's a profitable deal for you. If you get new clients that you're going to have for years and years to come, that's an extra profitable deal for you. If you write 500, there's a lot of good reasons to get yourself out and prospecting and being in front of clients, and just having the back support that you need to do that is the key. So seminars, most of our seminars, the questions, a couple of, locations we're still using. That's why Dave mentioned schools and libraries. We're using a lot of little community colleges, a lot of community centers, a lot of extension offices, a lot of libraries. So you really you don't want to do dinner generally. We have some folks that do dinner around Social Security. We're not big believers in that. But some guys have some success with it. But an educational format, an educational venue is what's going to work best for you there. If we are doing digital workshops, we can help you with that full development all the way through. We'll get you the seminar as part of the opportunity for sure as well. So you're going to have the seminar, you're going to have the coaching, you're going to have the assistance that you need to edit out your digital workshop. So we'll get it edited down to a nice size version for you, and it'll be something that you can use over and over again, frankly. So that's one advantage of it. And there's going to be opportunities digitally, even when we're doing business face to face. There's still going to be some very low cost ways to keep your stuff out there digitally that can keep prospects coming to you. So a lot of good things about that, and we're going to help you through every step of that. Right now we're using, the question is, what's the format that we're using? Trying to remember the name of the firm that most of our guys are using. So some guys are using your standard Zoom, and some guys are using this format here, which we're using, which is GoToWebinar. But there's another one that's actually been the most popular. It's most popular because it's the ease of getting aboard. One of the barriers that you run into, no matter what you're doing, it needs to be easy for our clients. And a lot of our clients are going to be 58, 60-year-old clients, and so you want to make it so they can just click on the link and go right into the webinar. And so the one that we're using primarily, that's the real benefit of that platform. I'll try and send out to this group an email, because the name right now just went away from me, but I'll send out an email with the name of that. And it's about $90 a month to get on that. Now, we also have a group one that you can use, so you can decide whether you want to have access to that for your other stuff, or if you're just going to do Social Security claiming webinars on it, we can make that available to you at no cost. We have that capability set up. There's another couple questions. It looks like most of you that have voted yes, which is great. A couple of you have very specific questions. If you just have a question that you want to ask of Dave, just hit yes on that poll. His team will call you. They'll set up a call, and if you just want to know the answer to a very specific question, he's glad to do that. Dave he enjoys the coaching aspect of it, and he'll be glad to help out. He's a producer's producer. He loves working with producers and can answer your Social Security questions. So just hit yes on that poll, and he will answer your Social Security question for you in that quick call. I think that's all that we've got. I want to thank you all. I know these are kind of strange times, maybe stranger than what we've run into in a decade or two, when you kind of add everything up that's going on in the world right now. And so finding ways to be successful and be consistent through different times is a challenge. And the fact that you're here and trying to learn more about how you can help your clients with Social Security and how you can help your business is important to us. So we are definitely biased towards finding ways to be of service to folks looking for ways to help themselves. And so whatever we can do to help you, we're glad to do that. Thank you for joining us today. I know Dave's gone. I appreciate certainly his involvement, but we couldn't do it without you all. And so my greatest gratitude goes out to you folks. Whatever we can do to help you here at IAMS, we're glad to do. That's what we're about here, is finding ways to help independent producers feel like they've got a place that they can count on, and that's what we're here at IAMS. So give us a call if we can help you at 800-255-5055. Ask for myself, Steve Murray. Ask for any of our sales directors. I'll certainly be glad to help you with any aspect of what you need to help your business be successful on a consistent and regular basis through kind of difficult times. So thank you all for joining us today. Have a great finish to your sales week, and look forward to chatting with you. Bye-bye.